Okay, it's 11:45. We're going to get started because this is a short 15-minute presentation. We're going to hear from Yumi Arai, and she's going to talk about lateral thinking, an activity for young learners to maximize students' engagement and utterances. So she's going to introduce an activity and may elaborate students' curiosity and creativity. So let's see how it can be incorporated in different levels of classrooms. Okay, you ready, Yumi?
Yes, thank
All
you
right,
very
thank you
much.
so much.
Okay, so let me just share my screen first. And okay, so let's get started. Hello, welcome to my presentation. My name is Yumi Arai. Today, I'm going to share my favorite activity in this session. It's called Lateral Thinking Puzzle, or LTP. This activity contains a lot of fun, but it's challenging for children and teachers as well. So let me introduce you. Okay, so first, let me introduce myself a little bit. I am in MA TESOL program in Kanda University International Studies, and I teach younger learners. My teaching context varies from 3 years old class up to high school students class. Yes, however, in this presentation, I would like to focus on elementary students. And also I need to mention that I am very new teacher. I started my career as an English teacher in January in 2022, this year. So I'm still very new teacher. Yes. So what is lateral thinking? It's one of the ways of thinking. Unlike logical thinking, lateral thinking requires creativity to solve the problems indirectly. So what I want to mean here is that it does not follow a linear step. So here is a visual image of both thinkings. So for logical thinking, there is an issue, and to solve it, you have to observe, analyze, and conclude to reach the solution. So you have to follow a very organized step. In contrast, lateral thinking can have a lot of solutions, like solution A, B, C, D, E, and each of them can be a solution, even if it's not a feasible idea. So, and all of the solution does not necessarily connect each other. So it is like a brainstorm before the logical thinking process. So let's see an example quickly. The case of Japanese watermelon farmer. I think this is a kind of famous story, but they had struggled with transporting those round-shaped crops. So how do you solve this issue? Inventing a special, I don't know, gadget to transport them. Well, first of all, why should all watermelons be rounded? So they grow square watermelon. It's like this. So as you can see, lateral thinking starts from questioning preconditions. So this can be the one solution by using lateral thinking, but definitely you can find so many other solutions by using lateral thinking process. So yes, I believe this skill is important for teachers sometimes, but how can we apply it to our classroom activity? So let's move on to the lateral thinking puzzle. So this kind of puzzle is very popular among children because it's known as a fun game called Umigame no soup in Japanese. The reason why I use it in class is one of my students brought his Umigame no soup into a class. I thought, oh, it can be a part of my lesson. So although I planned a lot before the class, but I let him be a teacher for that day. And we took some time to solve it in class. So, okay, so let me read it through first. Okay. There were a man and woman. The woman was dying. The man pointed a gun at her, but she said, thank you. Why? So this is a kind of puzzle. And I have tried this puzzle in class. And what my students had to do is asking me yes, no questions. And I answer them yes or no, or it doesn't matter. And they gather lacking information and try to figure it out. So if you have any questions, please type it, or you can just unmute and ask me some questions. So imagine you are an elementary kid, and yes, anything is okay. So for example, one of my students asked me, is she sick? Or, question.
Yeah, a couple of questions coming in.
Mhm.
Lots of hellos and thank yous. And then did he bring a tank?
Tank?
I think that's supposed to be thank you, right? She said
Mhm.
thank you. Okay.
Oh, sorry. I thought it's a typo. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. No.
Another question, was the gun real?
Yes.
Yes, it was.
Real. Yeah, I think it doesn't matter actually.
Doesn't matter. Okay.
Mhm.
Did pointing the gun at the woman help her in some way?
Yes.
Okay. Were they
Ooh.
friends?
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't
Wow.
matter.
Yes.
All right.
Good questions. Yes. So, was she being attacked by something? No, she was not attacked. Did he shoot?
Did he shoot her or something else? A tiger, maybe.
No.
Oh, something else in the space that was threatening both of them. Okay. Was she sick?
No, she was not. Using the gun frightened the
Spirit
woman.
gun?
No.
Was it a dye coloring gun?
No. Okay, so I'll give you a hint. So the place they were at the cliff. Like,
Oh, they were on a cliff. Okay.
yes, they were on a cliff. Yes.
Question, was her the woman?
Yes.
Man putting a gun at the woman. Okay. Was it a medical tool?
Was it a medical? No.
Was it a flare gun?
Flare gun? No.
And she was dying.
Dying
Like physically, or dying like colors?
Oh, physically.
Okay.
Yes.
Was she
Yeah,
dying
she was
because
dying.
of the cliff?
Yes, because of the cliff.
And was it a gun in the usual sense?
Usual sense. Not, how can I say? No.
No. Oh, that might be a big clue.
Yeah. So he did use a gun as a different way.
In a different way than usual.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Her position on the cliff. I think it's yes, no questions only. Was it a zip line gun?
Yes, no question only. Yeah. So I
was
think
it a zip line gun?
Oh, what is a zip line gun?
You like ride it and on a string that goes between points, goes off a cliff. It's like a zip lining.
No.
I don't know. It's like a sport. Was she dying? Was it a gun that does not shoot bullets?
Does not shoot bullet.
That's right. Okay, that's a yes. And was she dying because of her position on the cliff?
Yes. So I think you may notice the answer. So I okay. So let me just go on. So here are my students' questions. So I just quickly show you the questions my students asked me.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically I
Well, the
think
same.
yeah, very same kind of questions from my sixth graders class. And yeah, this is the answer. So they were at the cliff and she was about to fall off from the cliff. And he tried to help her by using his rifle. I don't know why he had it, but he tried to help her by using his rifle, and he wanted to pull her up by using his gun. So this was the answer. Yeah, it's kind of funny, but yes. Okay, so why is it good for young learners? As you can see, this puzzle makes you curious, and this encourages students' engagement in a class. Also, this stimulates students' creativity. Especially for younger learners, it might be difficult to express their feeling or story by using auto, which means English. Of course, they can imagine. Kids are very good at dreaming something, but it's super difficult to produce them by using English. However, this puzzle allows them to express their creativity by just giving easy questions. So additionally, this activity gives students to have opportunities to ask questions to teachers. Normally, I think the teacher is always the one who asks questions like, what's this, what's that? And students are to answer them quickly. But in a real life context, each person has to be able to ask questions to make the conversation flow naturally. Yes. So I think this activity is very good for younger learners. However, it may probably be difficult for teachers to find out what level can be a good for certain level of students. So I will recommend you create easy lateral thinking puzzle for younger students, such as like first graders to third graders. And from fourth graders, I think you can use some puzzles in books, or you can find them on the internet. However, you have to give them a hint effectively. So I just let me introduce quickly how to make your lateral thinking puzzle. So yeah, of course you can find it from the internet or books, but I will suggest how to make it. So step 1, try to recall your daily life. And next, please describe it well. Maybe you can write. And in my case, I wrote that I ate an egg for my breakfast. And finally, omit some parts, important parts, or reconstruct them. For example, I cracked an egg and made a sunny side up for my breakfast. It was nice. And from that sentence, I would say, I broke it before I use it, but I was happy. Why? So you can't eat an egg without cracking it, right? So I think kids love riddles, and these puzzles are similar to it, but the point here is that they cannot jump into the answer. Students can enjoy the process. So another way of scaffolding is giving a hint. So for intermediate students, you can give some hints. So for example, this is a new lateral thinking puzzle, and there were a boy and a girl. It was his birthday. She said happy birthday to him, but he was sad. Why? This is a new one. And of course, you have to let them try. And after several questions, you can give some hint, but you have to think how to give a hint. So please do not be a spoiler. And this is an example of giving a hint. So I just said his birthday is in winter. And my students said, oh, Christmas Day? And I said, close. New Year, and after New Year. And then they reached that answer. Yes, so his birthday is on the same day as Valentine's Day. And as you may know, in Japanese culture, Valentine's Day is a day that girls make chocolate or buy chocolate and give it to someone they love, but he did not get it from her. So he was sad. Yes, so this is one way of giving a hint. Okay, so finally, considerations. Although these puzzles worked well in my context, there are some considerations. First, how effective? For example, can beginner students understand it? So the sentences are very complicated and weird. So I'm not sure if every student can understand the concept right after. And the activity requires a lot of preparation for teachers and seem to be very difficult task for students as well. Sometimes they cannot reach to the answer, sadly. Yes, and the other consideration is that students' utterance is limited to asking yes or no questions. Yes, so as I mentioned it, however, it will help students to practice asking questions, even very simple ones. Yes, but also it looked very communicative activity at first, but the interaction is only happening between the teacher and the student. So if I would have a chance to teach in a large class, then I would make some groups and let them think questions in a group. So in that way, I really want to make it very communicative activity in the future. Yes. So to sum up, the activity is good for warm up and potentially raises the engagement of students in class. However, this cannot be a main part of your class, obviously. Yes. So I really would want you to try this activity in your context, and I really interested in the result. Okay, so that's all from me. Thank you for listening.
All right, Yumi, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We've got a few comments coming through the chat here. Yeah, great, engaging activity, interesting. That was fun. And also, yeah, I love this kind of activity, and I use it with adults. Can you say the name again in Japanese?
Umigame no soup. Okay, I just type it.
Umigami no soup?
Yes, it's soup. So
soup.
Yes, yes. This is just literally a sea turtle, the soup of sea turtle. I don't know how to translate it, but this is a very famous lateral thinking puzzle. Yeah.
Okay. Another one. One variation is to give the answer to one student or maybe two, and then have them answer the yes/no questions from the other kids. Others, yeah, thank you. Nice, good, thank you, interesting. Thank you so much. Very informative. Definitely going to try it. Thank you for this engaging activity. Thank you. Yeah, so yeah, that was great. I thought it was very interesting in the gun example. There were a couple of variables that were stretched out. So one, it wasn't usually, most people think of a handgun. So that was different. You had to think outside the box there, laterally. And what was the other one? I completely forgot. And then he used the gun for a different purpose, not shooting somebody, but as a handle to pull somebody up, basically like a rope. So interesting to get kids to try to, or adults to try to find that kind of thinking, just doing something and not in the usual sense, and very creative and very fun. Yeah, thank you so much, Yumi, for that. For those examples, hopefully everyone will take that in and keep that in your mind as you're working with students, with your own students, and seeing how that they might be able to think outside the box, think laterally. Yeah, much appreciated. Thank you very much, Yumi. Any other questions or comments? Oh,
I think someone wants
Who wants to see the screen on how to make your own
Okay,
puzzles
I
again?
will try to share the link.
Okay, there's a link
Yeah, so I think
in the chat if you want to see those slides. Okay, thank you very much.
that I quickly yeah.
Someone else used the survival in the wilderness games for larger groups, which is probably using the same kind of thinking, huh? Alan mentions, actually, this is the same I thought. Your story reminded me of the one where a man or a woman walks into a bar and asks for a glass of water. The bartender pulls out a gun and points it at them. They say thank you and leave. What happened? Yeah, I've heard that one before.
Yeah.
Anyone know that answer to that one? She asked for water because of the hiccups, and he gave her a gun to scare her, and the hiccups go away. So, does anybody use these kind of lateral thinking attempts with children with low language abilities, like beginners or early on? Some of these examples look like for you were what, older elementary school or students who could kind of follow a little bit more English wise. I've done some very, nothing to this level, but very simple ones, like say you've got some flashcards that you're using in class, and then normally you would just go through them. What are they? They are buses. What does she do? She's a dentist. But in order to do some of the aims Yumi had, so asking, getting the kids to ask questions and to think a little bit more. Sometimes I hold the cards without showing them, like ones that they know, they're familiar with. And then I drop hints within, language patterns that they already know. So the two cards I just showed you, let's see. Oh, she's wearing a white coat. She has tools. And you would have to ask a yes, no question. Is she a dentist? Yes, she is. They are big. They have 4 wheels. They have windows. And they have to guess, are they buses? Yes, they are. So it doesn't have the extent of the puzzles, but it's something you can do at the very basic levels with the same kind of thinking and the same kind of engagement puzzle, anticipation. What's it going to be? I want to know the answer. Like that's absolute gold to be able to use with your students. So very cool. Thank you so much, Yumi. Cool. Anybody else have some games to share? We got some time until the 1 o'clock presentation. So you guys are welcome to exchange some ideas or add some comments.
Question.
Yeah, go ahead, Mitsue.
How would you use that with a very, because Yumi-san, you work with 2 to adults, 2-year-olds to adults, 3-year-olds. Would you use that type of activity for the babies as well?
For babies, I don't use that activity. I just use it from elementary first graders.
Elementary first grade.
Yes.
Okay.
And also I sometimes use for of course beginner level, like elementary first graders, they cannot understand me, so I always prepare visual image, and yeah, sometimes I let them use Japanese and I help them to translate it into English. Yeah.
Where do you find your do you own illustrations? I'm thinking that it'll be hard to find the illustrations to demonstrate that particular situation.
So
do you have a resource that you would go to find puzzles of that sort?
Basically, I always make my own lateral thinking puzzle, and I always draw simple illustration on a whiteboard. Yes. So for example, maybe they know about the egg, but I always draw circle and this is an egg, like that. Yeah. I think that kind of illustration and gesture will help first graders, second grader, beginners to
Mhm.
imagine the situation.
Mhm.
Yes,
Well, thank you.
thank you.
Yumi, I have a question.
Yes.
When I do this, even with adults, one of the big problems is a lot of people don't know how to approach that kind of puzzle because of lateral thinking, which a lot of people aren't used to. So there's a very common tendency for people to try to guess the correct answer, bing. Whereas I always find that the more effective approach is to ask broader questions. So rather than saying, well, did she have a cold? Did she have cancer? Ask a broader question, was she sick? And then then narrow it down.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of times I have to teach my students that approach to thinking. And even then it's hard for them. And I'm wondering if you have the same problem, and if so, what, with the kids. And if so, how do you kind of guide them to this other way of thinking about things?
I think, yeah, as you mentioned, it is very difficult to think that way, like lateral thinking. But in my experience, I just demonstrate, like can I say, I was like I use puppet. And this one is a teacher and this is a student, and I just demonstrate how to do it. Like, yeah, like a play, and students got the concept what I really want to do in that activity. So yeah, but I just I think you should start from very easy, simple ones to introduce first time.
I've never done this, but I wonder if it might be helpful to have a few questions written out for them, so kind of model questions, and kind of and then deal them randomly. So each student, for example, might get to ask one question that's written out for them, and that would kind of give them the idea of the kind of question that would be helpful. Does that sound like a good idea? I don't know. I've never done it.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, because this is very as I mentioned, very complicated and difficult task for both for teachers and students. Yes, so I think it would help students to think about it deeply.
Do you have another one you can give us and let us try to find the answer? Because I love it. I'm always on the end of I know the answer, because I love to be on the other end of trying to figure it out. You have one to give us?
Oh, you mean
Another give us?
I'm sorry.
Do you have another of these kinds of puzzles, these lateral thinking puzzles?
Oh yeah.
You could give us right just for fun.
Yeah. For example, I think I have to draw something on a whiteboard, but there is an can I say?
Maybe we should ask if other people are interested, because I don't want you to do it just for me, but if other people would have fun.
Yeah. Okay. So there is a basket, and inside of the basket there were 6 apples. Okay, 6 apples, and there were 6 students, and each of them took 1 apple each, and everyone got 1 apple. But after that, there was 1 apple inside the basket.
There's one left?
Yes, 1 left, but everyone got an apple. 6 people got an apple, but yes, in the end, there was an apple inside the box, inside the basket.
Were there only 6 apples to begin with?
Yes.
Mitsuse asks, is the apple part of the basket?
Is apple? Yes. Is the apple part of the basket? No. All apples were inside the basket.
Okay. And the
Yeah.
sixth person was holding the basket?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Ah,
Wow, that was quick.
you got it.
Nice.
Yazid, had you heard that before? Where's Yazid? Yazid, had you heard that one before, or did you just figure it out?
No, he hadn't. Okay.
Wow. So yeah, it happens in class if you have a genius student. I said that students cannot jump into the right answer, but if you have a genius student, yeah.
I'm writing that one down. I like that so much.
Yeah, how did it start? There were 6 students and 6 apples.
Yes, 6 apples, and
And
one by
each
one.
student took an apple.
Mhm.
And
Each student got one apple.
Yes. Each
You say
student
took, it sounds like you're taking it out of the basket. So each
yeah,
student,
got an apple.
or the teacher gave each student one apple, because you can give him an apple, give him the basket with the apple in it.
So yeah, in a class,
One of the things about this kind of problem is the wording can be very particular. Like you can word, so like sometimes somebody will ask a question, and then a few minutes later, somebody else will ask a question, and this earlier person says, "Oh, I already asked that." But just a little difference in the wording can make a difference. And so you say, "No, you asked a different question," and the answer was no. The answer to this one is yes. The first person is going, "What? What was different? What was different?" Yeah, so just a little difference in the wording can make all the difference.
yeah.
Oh, did you make that up?
Yeah, me too. I asked that. Is that your own?
No, actually, I read that from the book. Yeah, there is a book.
Oh, Yazid has a suggestion about learning to ask questions. Celebrity head or 10 questions can help them practice to ask questions for these lateral thinking questions. Is that like a website? This is coming from the chat. Oh, party games. Okay. Oh, sorry, Yumi, did I interrupt? You were in the middle of explaining how you came up with the apples.
No.
Where you got it from?
From the book, I think.
From a book. Okay.
Yes. Because it's very famous. Umigame no Soup is very famous game among children. So you can find so many books of Umigame no Soup.
With just a bunch of examples.
Yeah.
Type of thinking. Okay, cool.
Okay, I'll look for that. Good to know.
Yeah, I'm especially interested in ones that have extremely easy language involved, so that maybe one like the Apple one. So like, yeah, that more beginners and the younger students can practice this kind of thinking without having a lot of language capacity in English.
Somebody just gave us a new one.
Yazid, wow, okay, keep them coming. I'll read it out.
I know this one, so I'll sit out.
Okay, Alan. A person living on the 10th floor of an apartment always takes the elevator when he leaves for work each morning. When he comes home from work, he takes the elevator to the 3rd floor, then walks the rest, except on rainy days. Why? All right, Yumi, you've been challenged with your own lateral thinking. If you haven't heard this one before.
You know, I've heard this, but I never heard the part about except on rainy days. And I understand it. That's a good addition to the way I heard it without that. I like that addition. Yeah. Sounds like Yazid might have a lot of them for us.
Yeah. Oh, I don't even know what question to ask. Yumi's got to help out. Yumi, you're the expert. Help us. We're stuck. Okay, this is open lateral thinking, everybody. We still got over 20 people here, so yeah, bring it on. Let's do it. What? Melanie, it's right above you in the chat. There's a lateral thinking game, basically a riddle. You go to the chat at the 12:24 mark. Rainy days. All right. Is there a leak of some sort in the building? Is there a leak, like is water coming into the building somewhere so that they can't go up? No leaks. Okay. So why would a person not take the elevator up 7 more floors to the 10th floor on a rainy day? Oh, not on rainy days. Okay. Why? Because they like exercise. Is the elevator out of order? Oh, and if someone else is in the elevator too. So if someone else is in the elevator, they take the elevator up to the 10th floor? He does. Okay. Is something interesting on the 3rd floor? Nothing interesting. Is it something to do with the button? The elevator buttons? Yes. Oh, okay. Elevator doesn't have. Oh, okay. Mitsue's got a good guess. Is it because he can't reach? Oh, okay, okay. But what about the rainy days? Why would the rainy days make a difference? He's wearing high-heeled boots or something? Oh, he carries an umbrella. I get it. Why not just bring the umbrella every day? I don't know. Good one, good one. Thank you, Yazid.